Hey, empathic healers, our journal prompt for the day. Do you accept those moments of needing, quote unquote, needing help from others? You ready to dig deeper? Grab your journal and journal with me. Today we're talking about acceptance, being an observer, and the third eye chakra. So, welcome to the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal Self Care Challenge Day 27. My name is Robin Knott, and I am your host of Energy Healing TV and podcast on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify, and the founder of the EnergyHealingSchool.com. Let's get started. So, this was interesting. I didn't know some things were going to come up. Do you guys do that when you journal? Like, you might assume it's going to go in one direction, or you just don't have anything in your immediate awareness. But as soon as you start to journal and you let it flow, it's like, oh, there it is. And that's what I want. And I hope that you are having that experience as well. I'm sorry if it seems dark in here. Like I have my lights on, I have my ring light on, but to me, the view still seems kind of dark. Anyway, so starting again, remember we want to be aware, assess, and align. So be aware wherever we're at, whatever's coming up is fine, as long as we are bringing it into our awareness so we can acknowledge it and honor it. Assess where we're at. Is it in alignment with the source of unconditional love? If it is, amazing. Celebrate that. Have that gratitude. If not, that's fine. No blame, shame, and guilt. What is one action step we can take then to shift and clear our energy to get closer to alignment with the source of unconditional love? And sometimes, don't forget, just the process of journaling is an action step. Holding space for yourself is an action step. Allowing yourself to feel is an action step, right? We're not trying to wave a magic wand and make everything quote unquote perfect so that we don't have to feel anything but ultimate joy all the time. Just clearing that up. So, when I started writing, do you accept those moments of needing help from others? Historically, my answer would be no. No. Now, more, I almost said easily. I don't know if that's fitting. Probably, I guess, more easier now than before. Not that it's easy, but easier now than before. However, there's a difference between accepting the moment of needing help versus getting it, asking for it. I think there's many other steps involved, but we're kind of right now in this moment just focusing on accepting that, seeing that. Because how many of us had those programs, right? That we shouldn't need help or we shouldn't, quote unquote, right? Shouldn't ask for help. We shouldn't expect other people to help us. We shouldn't, right? Don't bother other people's. Some of those that'll come up in a little bit later. But what is it for you, right? It becomes so much a part of us that realizing that we need to do help or need to ask for help or need help, just accepting that is a challenge because we expect, big difference between accepting and expecting. We expect ourselves to do it on our own. We expect ourselves to do ours and then help anyone else that might need it, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. Anybody else? I know I'm not alone. So my programs tend to, historically, deny, avoid, resist. These are the words that just flew out, right? Deny, avoid, resist the idea that I would need help. I've had a very strong, I'm just reading what I wrote in my journal. I've had a very strong independent attitude. And I say attitude because that's really what it was for me. Like I did do a lot of things on my own. I just made life in some ways harder on myself by doing so. But I had that independent attitude. And I believed that I could do anything or mostly anything on my own. So let me put a pin right there to give some context to that. Drywall Didn't know how to do that, but it needed to be done. I didn't have any help with that. So I watched YouTube videos, right, to try to learn how to drywall. So I didn't have a bit large space to do. It was just like an inside wall. Excuse me, bedroom wall. So got the drywall up, didn't know how to mud it. So watched YouTube videos to do that mudding process, right? It turned out really junky, but I was determined to do it, right? Wasn't going to wait on somebody else. Oftentimes we ask for help and don't get it, so you try to figure it out on your own anyways, right? But again, it can turn out kind of not great, or you could hurt yourself. Like sometimes, so I just had a flash of memory. I have had a reclining chair, and it was upstairs in my room, and I wanted it downstairs. So I took it downstairs by myself. Now, I can laugh now because I made it, right? I didn't hurt myself. Not have been good. There have been times where you push it, right, and you hurt yourself. But I was able to maneuver it. Now, upstairs, I don't think I could have taken it upstairs by myself. But, gravity was my friend, and the space was tight enough, not too tight, but tight enough that it helped me that it wouldn't get away from me, right? I was able to get it down the stairs. Just those examples, and I'm sure as you're journaling, you may have some memories for yourself like, "Oh, there was that time when this happened," right? And there's that time when you have this memory. So now that I accept the need for help, now I'm more humble and willing to say, "Yep, I can't do this on my own. I'm gonna need some help." But then we also might have to accept that we're not gonna get the help we need. So those are two different things, right? So continuing on, acceptance in itself, though, releases the resistance. So it allows us to step into an observer mode. So then, before I get wrapped up in the people don't help me and when I need help or I don't get enough help or blah, 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 like not allowing the brain to go there and write all that stuff, right? Like I stopped, went right into the oh, because then there's anger and resentment that starts to build, right? So you move and shift into that acceptance and you're allowing and you move up into that observer mode because I'm rechecking what are we covering today? We're acceptance, being in observer mode, and third eye chakra energy, right? So when we're in the higher vibration and I can observe the situations, I can then start to reflect on this is about my personal growth and my journaling process, right? And just healing my own layers of stuff. That's my responsibility, not what other people do or don't do. What I do is my responsibility. So reflecting on my own patterns to increase my awareness, right? And then to assess that energy and see if it's in alignment with the source of unconditional love. And again, not others, what they're doing and not, but my own. We want to reflect on our own patterns, right? That's for us to heal. So then we can walk it backwards. So we're starting at third eyebrow chakra, talking about acceptance, but then take it a step down. Yesterday, we talked about communication and speaking your truth in the throat chakra, right? So when we're talking about that need for help, have I always expressed, have I always been assertively asking for help when I needed it? No. So therefore, I taught people that I would do it myself, right? Because that's what I would say. I could do it. I could do it on my own. Did you guys do that? I can do it. I can do it on my own. So now it's like you ask for help. I don't know. Maybe people don't take us seriously. I don't know. But still, reflection. What have I spoken? How did I speak when it came to needing help? Did I accept that I needed help? And did I ask for it when I needed it? Then into the heart chakra, showing up with forgiveness, right? So forgiving myself for those times that I didn't ask for help when I needed it, and then allowing forgiveness for others when they just don't. And then solar plexus, our self-image, as I mentioned earlier, having that independent attitude, right? Having that self-image that we're supposed to, of what we're supposed to do, what's expected from us, what we have pride in, right? I used to be very proudful, had a lot of pride for trying to take doing things on my own, for being independent. So that plays a big role in how that energy flows and how we present and the actions that we take and the choices that we make, right? And then into the sacral chakra. What emotions do you feel around that? So having that image of being very independent, when there comes a time that you need help, then there's some icky feelings that come along with that, right? There's some emotions in there, like maybe unworthiness even. Start to devalue yourself a little bit, or feeling weak, not good enough, or I can't do it on my own, so I'm not good enough, or I'm not independent because I had to ask for help, or, right? Like the mind will do some weird things to us there. So what emotions do you feel? And then in the root chakra, what are the beliefs and the programs that we've had in our life experience? What were we taught, whether it was directly or indirectly, when it comes to even needing help sometimes? What stuck in my mind, this may not be what the only things I heard, but what stuck in my mind that I tend to grasp and internalize, as we do as human beings, is that you do it yourself, right? To be independent, that was a strong value. And you don't bother other people. Don't bother other people. Who do you think you are? You don't do that, right? Like, that's disrespectful to bother other people and ask them for your help. So when those things stick with you, it comes back up, right? Moves into those emotions and the solar plexus, our self-image, all the way in. So again, when we can shift in that observer mode, though, it allows us to be able to see those patterns. And then what can we do to help shift and clear out those patterns? That's massive, because what used to be doesn't have to maintain and continue. So if you need help, be aware of that, ask for it without the expectation, right? Accept that you're human still and may need help somewhere in some way or another, but don't expect. And there's another challenge all in itself, right? Because the idea of asking for help is to then receive it, be open to receive it. There's another thing. Don't expect the help. And when it is offered in return, receive it. Crown chakra, right? We talk about receiving tomorrow. I hope you were able to kind of hear and see in my examples how that energy flows in and out, and then how journaling on these pieces, on these aspects of ourself, brings it into our awareness so that you can learn more about yourself. Like, I still learn more about myself. I think we always can improve and increase our self-awareness. I think we can always take action steps to heal some old stuff, right? We have so many layers, so many. So again, as you're journaling, just to recap on the process of journaling, I'll repeat the journal prompt for today, and of course I'll post it as usual, as we do. Write down the journal prompt. Do I accept moments of needing help from others? And wait. Just allow yourself to sit with that and then answer and write down again whatever comes to mind. Even if it seems like it had nothing to do with the question, write it down anyway, because that could be showing you a pattern. Is that a pattern of avoidance? A pattern of denial, right? A way to minimize the situation, to dance around it, if you will. So let me know if you're comfortable, what comes up for you. How do you feel about needing help from others? Are you able to accept that okay? Are you pretty open and able to express that when needed? Do you have resistance in that? Explore it a little bit, dig in there a little bit and see. You know me, I like to dig deep. Some don't, I do. So homework, as always, check in with yourself. to continue in your journaling process, to be aware, assess your energy, and align with the source of unconditional love. Because again, I didn't really incorporate that, did I? When we deny ourselves help when we need it, that's not really in alignment with the source of unconditional love, right? And again, I'm not going to focus on what other people choose to do. If they choose to help or not when we ask, that's on them, right? That's theirs. It's not ours to take. I know that means that we're still not having the help that we need, but maybe there's a lesson in there somewhere. We can usually find one. But how we react and what we do next, that's on us. So maybe it's just being able to move through that process. I asked, I didn't get it. So I had to look within me a little bit to see some whys, why did it come up this way? Well, it's new for me to ask for help, or sometimes people just aren't able to, right? So is it just my expectation? Is my expectation either unrealistic or unreasonable? Or is it just poor timing, right? Maybe it's nothing outside of just whoever I asked wasn't able to, right? Could be. Might not be anything more than that. And then what is my next step? Because then I caution us for the all or nothing, that extreme thinking, right? That one time we ask for help and we don't get it, don't let that determine and dictate another moment or another opportunity, right? Is that a pattern that we've done? I've done that in the past. So I'm kind of glad we had this conversation, because in my own journaling process, it didn't come up writing, but it came up speaking and on it. So that was kind of cool. If you haven't already, also sign up for the Empathic Healers Masterclass, a step-by-step guide to set boundaries and protect your energy. And if you're not aware, the live round is actually November 20th. I know it's a little bit out, but as we get closer, you'll get an email. So if you sign up now, you'll get a confirmation email. And then as we get closer to the date, you'll get an email with the link, I believe, in there. It's a new system that I'm using, so I'm kind of learning as we go, but that's, if I understand correctly, that's how it works. And then, of course, meet me back here tomorrow to talk about receiving and unconditional love and the crown chakra. So I hope you have an amazing day, evening, whatever time in the world it is for you. Thank you for all who hopped on live and on replay. Again, share your comments if you're comfortable, and I will see you tomorrow. Take good care. So much love. Bye, guys.